love, girls need love. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say no. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say no. Oh no, give it to me like you need it, baby. Want you to hear me screaming, have it breathing. I don't need a reason, baby. I want it till you can't vibe. I can get it to you right, baby. I wanna be healing. I can be real good. Please don't get these feelings. Hey, I need some love.
Hello, everyone. We are here with After Dark Topics, and this is where we go through and we watch some commentary. We kind of see what's going on in the world, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take it on over to Instagram. And our first story that we have is the 17-year-old girl arrested for reportedly unaliving a Sonic manager after she tried to buy food using fake money. Okay. Now listen here, it's a lot going on out here. That's why I'm very polite to the service workers. You know, I you know, I don't know. I just try to have no confrontation. Be polite, pay your money, and go about your business and enjoy your meal. But that didn't happen. Shout out to our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk. Neighbors, what is going on in the world? A 17-year-old San Antonio teen was arrested in Dallas, Texas for being accused of shooting and unaliving a Sonic manager. Adia Roberson was on the run for 3 months before she was arrested in an apartment complex in Dallas. She and a 27-year-old named Joshua Joseph, already in custody, allegedly became enraged after a Sonic employee denied giving them food because they tried to pay with fake money. While attempting to leave the Sonic, the victim, 33-year-old Daniel Shrewsbury, tried to take a photo of their license plate. When Joseph told him he was going to get POW'd, following that, Roberson got out of the vehicle and opened fire on Shrewsbury. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Joseph was arrested back in August, while Roberson was recently arrested following being placed on Texas Top 10 Most Wanted Teens and having a $5,000 reward for any tips that led to an arrest. Police confirmed she was captured because of a tip they were given. Roberson is waiting to be transferred back to San Antonio and has a $520,000 bond.
Arrested a 17-year-old fugitive wanted for killing a Sonic manager because he wouldn't give her food. The murder happened over the summer in San Antonio. Police say the teen and an accomplice were denied food because they tried to pay with fake money. And so they say she opened fire and then took off to Dallas. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager has details on her capture, and she's live outside the county jail where that woman is being held. Peyton.
Steve, and that teenager's name is Adia Roberson, and police believe Roberson went from San Antonio to Austin to here in Dallas, but it's still unclear how long she had been staying in Dallas. We do know a reliable tip led investigators to an apartment building off a Dallas highway. A teenager on the Texas 10 Most Wanted list was taken into custody at this Pleasant Grove apartment complex, part of a multi-agency operation. 17-year-old Adia Roberson was on the run for 3 months, accused of murdering a San Antonio Sonic manager. Tuesday, investigators learned Roberson was hiding out at the corner of Pleasant Drive and CF Hahn Freeway. Around 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the U.S. Marshals North Texas Fugitive Task Force arrested Roberson in the parking lot. She was booked into the Dallas County Jail on the charges of murder and forgery. On July 7th, San Antonio police say Roberson shot and killed 33.
All right, Y'all listen here. Let's get up into these comments. Someone says, "You hungry as hell, but got on a true religion shirt. They here told me everything I needed to know, honey. She would have been perfect to be on Now That's TV. That's who they cast, anyways. Yeah, she had to go down for that." Someone says, "Life without parole. The manager never should have gone to get their license plate. Just let them leave. He might have been alive still." Lord, these kids are down bad. You don't have no money, but got a GUN. Generation of crash outs. This is sad. However, they were leaving, trying to take pictures of a license plate was doing way too much. Sometimes people go too far at these jobs. The manager's job was done when they denied the purchase. That should have been the end of it. Why is it that serious? Shaking my head. Fast food, Sonic, you messed up your life for that. Now you can eat prison food. Senseless. This generation just crashing out. What are y'all thoughts on that? Do y'all think that, this teen was it she was hungry? Was she trying to break a big bill, and maybe get some cash back? You know how they do, like you would pay with a large bill, and then when the change comes back, then you have like the real bucks, right? So you can take that and then go along, go on about your day. um this next story this next story shout out to the Shade Room. Okay, now we've had Jaguar, right, speaking about Beyonce and Jay-Z, and Tokyo Tony decides to sound off. Okay. Tokyo Tony clarifies that she doesn't hate Beyonce. "I don't rock with how she moves. It's just improper for our kids." Shout out to the Shade Room. Tokyo Tony had a lot to say about Beyonce while appearing on the DJ Quicksilver show with her daughter, Angela White. Tony said she didn't hate Beyonce B or Bay, but felt the singer doesn't do enough for the community. Tony also explained why she doesn't rock with a Grammy award-winning singer and how she's improper for children. Let's go.
Miss Tokyo. Now what's beef with Beyonce?
Why do you hate Beyonce on the internet?
Listen, it's not that I hate Beyonce, because Beyonce, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know Beyonce. It's the perpetration that she showed to the public. Everything you put out there, you want everybody to buy, but you don't give up nothing. You don't do no food drives, toy drive, clothing drives. You don't push nobody. These celebrities, and I'm going to go on all of them real quick, they could take one time a year and just push somebody. Do like this on your roller deck. Stop at the nails. Boom. Let me get you. She don't talk about nothing. She don't do nothing. She weak.
What if Beyonce is a person like China who's private? What if she's doing these things, she's just not posting?
I don't care. You still have 0 posts, girl.
But so if you don't post about it, it's not real?
Post about anything. Say hello.
Oh,
Hi, guys.
I'm trying, Beyonce.
Hi, guys. Thank you for buying all my stuff. Miss Tokyo. Thank you for buying all my stuff.
Yeah, she don't comment on that. She don't even leave a caption.
She don't do anything.
I don't even think she even runs.
No, I think somebody else posted
her social
No, it's
media.
no need to run. There's nothing to run.
There's a human behind her.
There's nothing to run. There's nothing there.
So to clear this up, you don't hate Beyonce.
I do not hate nobody in this world.
That thinks you hate her.
But you ain't rocking with how she moves.
I don't rock how she moves. No, it's just improper for our kids, And then, like I say, you have her. She has her own child, like up on the stage. You know better. We know how Hollywood you ain't supposed to be doing all that, and especially where you got billions of dollars. That's the purpose and the point. That's like being a stripper. You're a stripper now. You made $1 million and you still want to strip. What's wrong?
But she ain't got blew up there stripping.
No, but she was doing.
Now you push.
No, see, Quicksilver like to stop. Quick like to stop. No, thank you for buying all my stuff.
Yeah, she don't comment on that.
Okay, so listen here. So is Tokyo Tony wrong? I mean, does she have the right to, really say that? Because when we think about it, we think of, when you say Angela White, yes, Angela White is the newfound Angela White, but there was a Black China before, and there was, Tokyo Tony back in her day, doing her, survivals. And, she tells us that, she eventually went into entertainment and did what she had to do. So, valid points from her point of view. These are some of the things that she wants. Can we deny her? What are your thoughts in the comments? All right, let's get into it. So it says, and let me see, am I off of? I didn't mute it myself. Sorry about that. In 2007, Beyonce sponsored a pre-concert food donation drive as part of the Beyonce Experience Tour at the Verizon Center on Thursday, August the 9th in Washington, D.C. The drive will benefit America's Second Harvest and the Capital Area Food Bank. The food drive hit Houston, Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Child, somebody from the Beehive said, hold on, wait a minute. Beyonce launched her Be Good nonprofit in 2013 to foster a society where everyone has an opportunity to prosper. The organization launched a $1 million initiative to help businesses and communities impacted by economic inequities. At the Black Parade, is that route? Small Business Impact Luncheon in Chicago and Atlanta, Be Good awarded small business owners $10,000 in grants to further build their enterprises. In 2021, Beyonce's Be Good Foundation, Adidas, and the Houston Disaster Relief Organization, Bread of Life, teamed up to provide relief to Texans in need during Winter Storm Uri. So when you say, okay, she didn't do anything, sweetheart, she is. And see, if she had come out here and said, well, oh, I do this, I do that, then y'all would say, well, girl, don't you have billions of dollars? Why are you telling us that? So, wealth is quiet, okay? And I think that you guys are just so used to these rappers and just kind of how, every time they're on live stream or something like that, or they got their money out and showing this and that. That's why they are targets. That's why people go after them, because they feel like that's an easy lick. If I can take them out, I can rob those pockets. Okay. Let's get into some of these comments because y'all know they're about to go in. Someone says she's the one to talk. Someone says the way China will not smirk when B is the topic. That's actually industry standard. The girls girl, how B gets down. Tokyo is the unhinged one. Laughing my A off. I live. The Be Good Foundation has supported my nonprofit for many years. I can personally say that we have benefited from Beyonce's care for the community. Not everything is done for the public to see. So that says beauty to the streets. Okay, let's check them out. Oh, I'm following. Okay, essential services for the homeless of Skid Row, Las Vegas, and San Diego. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I follow her. Okay. Now I know who she is. And she does. She has like a food truck and she goes out and she does her thing. She actually feeds the people. And she's, like she lets them have what they want, but it's gotta be in orders. This lady, she don't get out of order, get in her line and be and be kind to others. Let's take a look.
Good morning, beauty queen. How's it going?
It's going good.
Good morning. How did you sleep?
Good.
You slept well?
Yeah.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
You ready to work?
Yeah.
You ready to be productive?
Yeah.
James will be here late because he has a doctor's appointment,
Oh,
okay?
you got a doctor's appointment?
Yeah, but he's still going to come.
He's still going to come?
The car's going to help you. Now, come here. I got to see.
Okay.
Now, this is no fault of yours, but you've been trained improperly. I was reviewing the footage back when you and James walked the line.
Yeah.
Now, you and I both know, Mercedes, if they didn't stand in that line, we don't give them a badge. James has you do that sometimes. Yeah. Let's not do that, okay?
Okay.
You are right. You even tell James, I'm supposed to do that. They weren't in line, okay? Yeah. So I don't want to see that on video again, okay?
Okay.
So you're going to get the bags.
Okay.
You're going to pass them out to people that have to be in line.
Okay.
Stand your ground, Mercedes. Okay. You must be strong.
Okay.
This is your job.
Okay.
Carlos. Can you give her the bags and shadow her, please? Tell her how many y'all think y'all should start with, please, and thank you. Say good morning to TikTok, Mercedes.
Hey, TikTok.
And you say good morning to your sister and your mother.
Hey.
Say it with more energy.
Hey, Jasmine and Mommy.
There you go. Tell them you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Come here, let me see your neck. Let me see the other side.
It's gone. They gone.
Oh, yeah, she's doing very well. Her neck is clear. She focused today because her neck is clear. Okay, great job. Go, Gadget.
Well, when you talk about having care, being sensitive, and also offering opportunity to those that are less fortunate and those that have disabilities, that goes a long way, And some people, they get some dollars in their pocket. And like I said, some people are braggadocious, some people are just, donors and silent, But you know, things are not always as they appear, So we just got to be mindful of that. All right. So we haven't talked about Diddy in a while. Let's go ahead and bring Diddy up. Let's see. So let's go ahead and bring Diddy up. So the Jasmine brand, shout out to the Jasmine brand, has reported. Oh, Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with another serious lawsuit. The lawsuit was filed today, which was yesterday, October the 28th in New York State Court in Manhattan. And just to give you guys an update, today is Tuesday, October the 29th. The current time is 5:03 a.m. Central Time. The plaintiff, who goes by John Doe in the suit, says he was only 10 when he was rugged and raped by Diddy in a New York City hotel in 2005. According to documents obtained by Rolling Stone, John Doe and his parents took a trip to Manhattan to meet with Diddy and the other industry executives to help advance his rap career. The plaintiff says a consultant hired by his parents delivered him to a hotel room and then left him alone with Diddy. He was allegedly given soda he feels was laced with rugs before being assaulted by Diddy. The lawsuit states after plaintiff consumed his soda and began feeling its effects, Combs told plaintiff to move closer to him, which plaintiff did. Combs then abruptly pushed plaintiff down and said words to the effect of, "You have to do some stuff you don't want to sometimes." Once plaintiff had pushed plaintiff down, Combs put his parts out of his pants and told the 10-year-old plaintiff to kiss it. When plaintiff resisted, Combs nevertheless forced his downstairs into plaintiff's mouth and proceeded to repeatedly push it in and out. John Doe says he froze in terror, lost consciousness, and later woke up with his pants undone and pain in his anus and buttocks. The claims to have later told his parents what allegedly occurred, and they were terrified of the potential consequences of reporting the abuse. He says he had to be homeschooled after the alleged incident. He also claims to still suffer from severe depression and anxiety. Let's get into some of these comments. Diddy is about to be a free man because the amount of lies that are coming out about him is making him look more innocent by the day. Someone says it's mandatory. It's a mandatory 10 years for perjury. Bye. I'm tired. See y'all in 2025. I don't care what nobody say. I believe it because it was, let's see. Okay. It was at a hotel, which means there is video footage, evidence of a 10-year-old arriving into his hotel. I believe it, just like he tried to suppress the Cassie video. I believe this. They doing him just like they did Michael Jackson. I don't want to hear anything else until he's officially convicted. If my child were to tell me something like that, I would not hesitate or have no fear in my heart to do something about it. What's wrong with these parents? Lock the parents up. And again, where were their parents at? Yeah, right. People are saying anything now. How y'all up here telling somebody they didn't get SA is crazy at y'all big arse age? Who's pressing criminal charges? Someone says, listen, Diddy deserves zero sympathy because he's been a menace for decades. He gets no benefit of the doubt per se. But I just hope that all these reports and stories are true, because if not, it ultimately hurts the case of his real victims. Folks like Cassie and others deserve their day in court, but false accusations make that harder. Not saying he's innocent by any means, but this sounds a little far-fetched to me. I don't know. Whew. Well, the people are speaking. The people are speaking. I just feel like, when it goes to court, let the judge and the jury decide, what happened. Let the evidence, if there is evidence, let's let's see the evidence. Let's see what's going on. You know, let's see what's going on. And speaking of seeing what's going on, today is the 2-year anniversary of Shanquella Robinson since she's been gone. Okay, and shout out to Bossip Official. Shanquella Robinson is a name that Bossip has been saying for quite some time. And for a while, we were worried that the case had gone completely cold with very few updates. Fortunately, that was not the case, as a lawsuit has just been filed against a group of Shanquella's friends who traveled with her to Mexico, where she was unalived. The group is now known as the Cabo Six, and the family's lawyer, Sue Ann Robinson, is intent on seeing them held responsible for Shanquella's death. All right, let's get into it. And if you all did not catch the live before this, I did go live and I did report on Shanquella Robinson and kind of give you guys an update and kind of what the readers were saying about and surrounding her unalivement. Someone says, this particular case has always been sad and troublesome to me. Justice for the family. Such a heartbreaking story. I hope they finally get what's coming to them. I know people have been beating them up every time they see them out. I hope they find the EMS workers who saw her when she was still alive and can say how her friends didn't want her to go to the hospital. Hopefully it works out. They shouldn't enjoy anything. Garnish them wages. Someone says, what did the friends say? What happened? As they should. Lord, please help this woman get justice. These people should not be out walking free. If you all do not know who Shanquella Robinson is, here she is right here. Beautiful, young, talented, educated woman, entrepreneur, and was really doing her big one. Really out here grinding and making things happen. Wasn't a selfish girl. She even paid for the trip for her friends. So her money was very much so long. Okay. Shout out to the PPP loan. Okay. We've been waiting. Someone says, good. Hopefully she gets justice. That was just wrong. When your parents say, I don't trust that person, it's always a reason why. Please let justice be served with this one. They won't get away with that BS. Someone says amen. Someone says yes, justice, please. Your thoughts? Are you all familiar with the case of Shanquella Robinson, the young woman that went to Cabos, Mexico with some friends, and she did not come home? Okay. And speaking of coming home, not coming home, we have It's On Site reported. Shout out to our friends over there. It's On Site. Shout out to the contributor, Kia Morgan Smith. Raymond Ronald Lee Childs III, now 19, was convicted in October 2024 for the brutal unalivement of his family, a crime that investigators say stemmed from his parents' refusal to let him stay overnight at his girlfriend's house. In January 2021, when Childs was 17, his parents confronted him about violating house rules and denied his request to sleep at his girlfriend's. leading to a heated argument. Law and Crime reports enraged Childs retrieved a firearm and proceeded to unalive 6 family members in their Indianapolis home. Prosecutors argued that he systematically moved through his Indianapolis home, unaliving his parents, Raymond and Kizzy Childs, his 18-year-old brother, Elijah, his 13-year-old sister, Rita, Elijah's pregnant girlfriend, Kiara Hawkins, and her unborn child. From the probable cause affidavit, at that point, he, the father, heard 2 firearm go off, 2 of those. His father got out of the bed, ran to the stairs, and said, "What was that?" He then heard his sister, RC, Rita Childs, say, "Raymond palled Elijah." Another pal went off, and he heard his dad say, "I'm sorry, Raymond. I love you." The only survivor was his then 15-year-old brother, who managed to escape despite being palled twice. The case initially resulted in a mistrial earlier in 2024, as a witness inadvertently asked Childs why he had committed the unalivements, prompting the judge to halt proceedings. In his retrial, Childs was found guilty of 6 counts of unalivement and faces the possibility of life imprisonment without parole. His sentencing is set for early January 2025. Kiara Hawkins' mother, Renika Hawkins, shared her relief at the verdict, saying, "To see him behind bars for the rest of his life, that would be justice served for me." Oh my goodness. Prayers up for that family. Imagine your family member being addressed by your parents. These are the rules. This is how it goes. And when you're older, then you make those decisions. And so that's why we really have to pay attention to our children. We definitely have to ask the questions. Are you stressed? Are you being bullied? Is anybody bullying you? Are you bullying anybody? You have to ask those probing questions. Nowadays, because we're living in a different time, things aren't what they used to be. Let's be honest. Things aren't what they used to be. Let's get into these comments. That is why jungle justice exists in Nigeria. In cases like this, you'd be a barbecue already. Someone says they gave him rules, so he unalived them. This sounds way too common nowadays. New generations are godless addition to an all-time high because of these phones. They watch and see and learn things way too young. School system is a joke. Parents give them time out when they bad. Our parents took a time out from swinging on us. Not saying it's the right way, but this way is much scarier because they fear and respect no one. Rest in peace to his family. Someone else says, this generation don't sneak out the house no more. Okay. Listen, baby. Back in my day, I used to sneak out. Baby used to sneak about their house, child. And someone says, what argument is that bad to where you feel entitled to take the lives of others? It's some sick people out here. Absolutely. Get the help that you need. Now you will never sleep with a girlfriend. Okay. Now you about to be somebody's girlfriend. Okay. Get into it. He had a father in the home and still did this. Stop blaming single mothers. Come on now. Come on now. I know that girlfriend is happy he didn't come to her house that night because who knows if they argued, he would have took her whole family too. Wow, that's something to think about. Well, he gets to stay in his boyfriend's cell for life, child. Oh, the comments are roasting this little thing up, honey. Miss Thing, honey, you are getting roasted. What happened to just running away like a normal teenager? Okay, listen here, I'm running away. I could do better. Then you get out there and like, whoa, oh, whoa, I'm ready to go back home. You know, when your says when your parents irritate you and you don't want to follow the rules, like what be wrong with some of these teenagers? Right, child, because I packed my bag and I was gone. Nah, he knows better. Demons walk among us. Someone says people really have lost their minds. Prayer to those lost by the hands of him. Now, this type of crime fits the unalivement penalty. So many dangerous people walking in the mist. And that's why I say, you just got to be careful and pick the battles, child, because you don't know what another person is going through. I stays out the way. Stays out the way, honey. All right, let's get into this. So our next story is going to be, let's see. So we have, a Minneapolis police, okay. Let me go ahead and get up into this. Shout out to our friends over at It's On Site, okay. Shout out to our friends over at It's On Site. Minneapolis police too afraid to arrest man who allegedly pawed neighbor through window while he was doing yard work. Minneapolis police have come under fire for their delayed response in arresting John Sawchak, a man accused of pawing his neighbor Davis Mortuary through a window while he was doing yard work. The incident occurred on October 23rd, 2024 in the South Minneapolis neighborhood, where Mortuary had been facing escalating harassment from Schrock for over a year. Despite multiple reports to the police about Schrock's threats, the authorities failed to act urgently, leading the tragic pawing. Mortuary was pruning a tree near the property line, was pawed and sustained severe injuries, including a fractured spine, 2 broken ribs, and a concussion. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara publicly stated, "We are not going to bust the door down, guns blazing, and get into a deadly force situation, but we will ensure the community will be safe." Mortuary, recently discharged from the hospital on Sunday night, says he's now too fearful to return home as long as Schrock remains his next door neighbor. He told 5 Eyewitness News on Friday that he had installed a security camera to document the escalating threats. Footage from Wednesday evening captures him pruning a tree along the property line next to Schrock's apartment building. A sudden pop rings out and Mortuary is seen falling backward to the ground. Let's go ahead and get into this content.
This was a shocking moment caught on camera. Video obtained by our NBC affiliate KARE 11 shows David Mortuary trimming a tree outside his Minneapolis home Wednesday when, according to court documents, a bullet was fired from his neighbor's upstairs window.
The bullet went down through my neck and then all the way back to my spine.
Mortuary told NBC affiliate KARE 11 he's also recovering from broken ribs and a concussion. Adding, the last 11 months since he and his wife moved in, they've been living a nightmare next door to John Sawchak. Court documents show the victim called police 19 times prior to the shooting for incidents including harassment, hate speech, and verbal threats. It also says Sawchak suffers from mental illness. Sawchak has been charged with attempted murder, but he is not in jail. Police allowing him to stay in his home because they say he's a threat to himself and others.
The likelihood of an armed, violent confrontation where we may have to use deadly force with the suspect in this case is high.
That excuse sparking community outrage.
We have to take violent criminals off the street. So I'm not a police officer. I don't know how that gets done, but I know it needs to get done.
Police say Sawchak rarely leaves his home, and the department has not set an arrest date.
We are not going to bust the door down, guns blazing, and get into a deadly force situation, but we will ensure the community will be safe.
Mortuary says he feels the Minneapolis Police Department failed to protect his family by not arresting his neighbor when they needed the most.
If you're saying you're scared, what does that do to me? Like, you have this body armor, you have professional training.
Dana Griffin, NBC News.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories.
So listen here, this is a story that I definitely want to follow. We need to see what is going on. Now, let's just say this. Let's just say that it was a black man that did that. Do y'all think that that black man would still be in his house waiting for an arrest date because he was armed and dangerous and he was a threat to the community? I am enough. Hey, babe, how are you? Good to see you. Um, let me know y'all thoughts. If that was a black guy, would he have been able to sit and chill in his house? Do you think that the police said, no, we're just gonna let Mr. Jackson just sit on up in there. We're just gonna Mr. Jackson on up in there. Oh, we just gonna plan this out. We're gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna give him some time because he's a threat to himself and everybody else. So we're gonna let him sit by himself. And then we're gonna come back. What are y'all thoughts? Let's go ahead and get into these comments. This point where we're supposed to call Pookie and Dookie them. If y'all can't handle it because baby, trust me, we got it. Now when that street justice happens, I'm just saying. Okay, sorry about that. My baby's allergies are going off. Now, when that street justice happens, I'm just saying, somebody says, what? This is insane. Sue the city, the county, the police department. What the purpose of having law enforcement if the police are afraid they need a new occupation? If you scared, go to church. If the remix hurt, okay, get out, okay. But if he was black, that's the same thing I said. If he was black, y'all think that he would have just been chilling? Tim Walz is the governor. Hello, ciao. What the F? They are who they are. What the F? I mean, what the hell? This is ridiculous. This can't be serious. Like, huh? Oh, because he's white. Because they sure do bust down black doors for warrants and shoot black people minding their own business. Okay, come on, Breonna Taylor. Come on now. Come on now. Horrible. Absolutely. I'm that's disgusting. It's disgusting to me, to say the least. Let's go ahead and get into the comments. I'm enough says, I am well. How are you? I am amazing. I'm amazing. I am amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our next topics. Okay, so we already discussed that one. Let's go ahead and get into this. Because we will be. I'm at the top of my game. I'm who they hate. Okay. So let's go ahead and give Jazzy her props. Jazzy in her confessional. She looked very amazing. I look forward to giving my review on Real Housewives of Potomac today. I did give a review on episode 2. So today you guys will get episode 3 and 4 today. I'll do 3 and 4 and I'll do them together. So it's like, okay, I'm giving you the review of 3 and then we just roll into 4. Yes. Come on, Lux. Come on, Lux. That's her home right there. Yes. She looks very beautiful. Yes, behind the scenes. Okay. Let's get into it. So behind the scenes, magic for my season 9, Real Housewives of Potomac confessional interview look. Big thanks to my dream team for bringing this vision to life. Doors Accord, Custom Outfit, Bad Boy Rez, Bob Eunice, Chanel Lee Beauty. Yes. Autumn Leaves Beauty. Yes. Yes. I'm so loving it. I'm so loving it. Yes, Miss Wendy is in here. Ashley is in here. A Work of Art, Bravo TV. Yes, ooh, we love this look. 4+4, 7+1, 6+2, 8. Worth the wait. Okay. The confessional look is top tier. It's giving housewife, fashion, beauty, and that girl. That girl. Okay. Yes, Jazzy. Someone says, Gag, can you get off our necks? Sheesh. Yes, honey. Her melanin. Oh my God. Her melanin is definitely popping. Her melanin is definitely popping. So you all make sure you look forward to catching Jazzy on Real Housewives of Potomac. Yes, yes, yes. And also check out our interview. I will be running that this evening. So I will be running the interview again this evening. For those of you that did not catch it, it is featuring myself, Couture Bay, and Jazzy. Yes. Okay, so who is next on the docket? Let's see. Okay, so next on the docket, we have this woman, mother charged with unalive after alleging powing 16-year-old son in the head in attempts to scare him. Okay, so I don't know what's going on, but shout out to our friends over at It's On Site because they have definitely been keeping the stories rolling. Now, I'm gonna let this play out and we'll give our thoughts and opinions on it in just a moment. Okay.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to 12 News at 4. I'm Christy Tedesco.
I'm Jacob Albrecht. We're following breaking news this afternoon. We just learned a mother shot her 16-year-old son, leaving him in critical condition. It happened this morning inside an apartment near Harry and Webb. Police say the boy was rushed to a nearby hospital. He remains in critical condition. His 46-year-old mother, booked on charges, included aggravated battery and aggravated assault from domestic violence. Police also investigating the same woman for another alleged incident back in March. Police say she'd threatened her ex-husband and his current girlfriend with a gun, but they didn't report it to.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to 12 News at 4. I'm Christy.
Ciao. Okay, so let's get into it. So Tisha Jenkins, also known as Tisha Florence, is facing a second-degree unalivement charge in the tragic death of her 16-year-old son, Robert Florence. Authorities in Wichita, Kansas, reported that on October 9th, Jenkins called 911, admitting she had shot her son, allegedly as a warning shot meant to scare him. Officers found Robert critically injured in their apartment. He later died at a hospital on October 11th. Law and Crime reports Jenkins initially faced charges of aggravated assault, but they were upgraded following Robert's passing. According to statements in the police affidavit, Jenkins expressed frustration over ongoing issues with her son, whom she described as having behavioral challenges. She reportedly admitted that she was agitated by Robert's decisions to skip school and his purported involvement with the drugs. Jenkins later claimed she believed the POW was empty when it discharged. The weapon involved was recovered at the scene, loaded with 1 round in the chamber and 2 in the magazine. Jenkins remains in custody on a $1 million bond with a court appearance scheduled for late October. Okay, so let's get into it. There never needs. Okay, someone says there's never a need to scare your kids straight with a POW. Someone says, what? Come on. Somebody says, so the story that he was fighting her and he got the gun and fought over it, she got the upper hand and unalived him is not the actual story? Someone says, we don't know what transpired before her powing him. Maybe we need the full story to judge her. Someone says, who used a gun to scare their child? Some women aren't supposed to be blessed with kids. This is sick. The article says critical condition. The title to this post says unalive. Which is it? Someone says she still shouldn't have used a weapon to scare him, despite the son giving her a hard time with skipping school and behavior issues. The weapon safety is imperative to protect children and adults. Always check. Now, why you playing with weapons as a scare tactic to your offspring? Sorry, yo, that woman, may he rest in peace. Girl, what the heck? If she had to use the weapon to scare him, he probably was a menace. Scare him by pulling the trigger. So my thing is, my thoughts on this story, if he had these behavior issues, did you reach out? Did you try to get help? Did you try to get him in therapy? Maybe you can talk those issues out, get to the root of the issue. Or were you trying to be the therapist as well? You're his mother. You can only be his mother. Sometimes you have to, let Sorry, you guys, my baby's allergies are going off. Okay, so this next story right here that we are bringing up is going to be shout out to the neighborhood talk. Oh no, hundreds of ballots in Washington state burned to a crisp after they were allegedly put on fire inside drop box. Let's get into it.
News, 2 incidents involving ballot boxes this morning. We'll start with what's happening in Vancouver. That is on the left side of your screen. We just watched firefighters pry open the back of this ballot box, which is obviously on fire. We were watching it smoke for the past half hour or so. This is at the Park and Ride drop-off ballot box at Fisher's Landing, right next to the C-Tran Transit building. We were watching police officers and firefighters sort of standing around this ballot box for a while, taking pictures. Then one of those firefighters just walked up with what looked like a crowbar, and they pulled the back of the ballot box out, and a bunch of ballots that are on fire poured out onto the ground. They're trying to put the fire out now. Obviously, it is steaming. It's pouring rain there. We don't know how many ballots were in this box, but obviously they are destroyed. This is going to be a big problem. This is happening again at the Park and Ride ballot location at Fisher's Landing in Vancouver. News, 2 incidents involving ballot boxes this morning. We'll start with what's happening in Vancouver. That is on the left side of your screen. We just watched firefighters pry open the back of this ballot box, which is obviously on fire. We were watching it smoke for the past half hour or so. This is at the Park and Ride drop-off ballot box at Fisher's Landing, right next to the C-Tran Transit building.
All right, you guys. So the neighborhood talk. Right, neighbors, this is wild. According to a KATU news, ballot box in Vancouver, Washington was extinguished this morning after it was potentially put on fire. Okay, so let's get up into these comments. Here they go. They so full of ish. Someone says the enemy within MAGA. They trying to rig this election. Go vote in person and early. Trump supporters getting desperate. Trump did it, but and Trump at work doing what he do best. Oh, they're doing this now. This is crazy. Y'all need to stand in line and go vote early. Don't wait until next Tuesday. Kamala got them shook. This is a blue state. I hope y'all can connect the dots here. Trump supporters starting early. Someone says Trump supporters are losing a little bit of mind. They had left. Someone says the most ghetto election in history. All right, so hopefully they get the people that did this, arrest them, and put him behind bars. Put him behind bars, and that should be like federal time, right? Because actually, yeah, the mail is like federal. Because remember, there was a young lady that was taken up out of here, and she was a mail carrier, and I think they're trying to say that Lil Durk has something to do with that. So let's get into this. I want to pull this story up right quick for you all. Go ahead and drop that down. Okay, so yeah, I want to get on over here. I saw this and I was like, oh my goodness, like this was a story that I would want to report on. Okay, so this particular lady right here, she thought that she was going to get away. All right, y'all give me 1 second. Bear with. All right, so this particular story right here, trigger warning, heads up. This is an evil wife thinks she's got away with murder. She didn't. Let's see. Oh. All right, so give me 1 second. I do apologize on the delay. If you all could please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you let somebody know that we are definitely live on this rising, and please come over. Let's see. If you got your coffee. All right, let's roll.
And a lot of people had some concerns. What was your relationship with Tia? I know that you guys say it's a brother-sister relationship. I know that in the phone it said big sis, and you had said that that's what it was going to say inside the phone. That's how you had her saved. What is the relationship in your eyes, and what was it before? Has it changed at all through any of this?
I mean, she's still my big sister. No matter what, I always look out for her. If you ask her mom, she'll tell you the same thing.
So I mean, I talked to her mom, and that's what she said. My question too is, in your phone, you have her saved as Big Sis. In her phone, she has you listed as a female's name for both of your numbers. You know why that is?
I mean, I never went through her phone.
So this is her phone, and these are your numbers saved under this female name. And then that's the black phone you had, and then the IPH is the iPhone.
Well,
so why does she?
Sonya is my sister.
Does your sister had both your numbers?
No, I'm talking about my big sister, my real sister. Her first name is Sonya.
Okay.
So I don't know why she has.
But why would she save you in her phone? Is that if you guys are so close, why would she feel like she has to hide it?
I don't know. I don't go through the phone.
Okay. I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, was she worried that George? Did you guys talk a lot that George didn't know about? That she was gonna? She thought he was gonna be upset.
We always talk in front of George. So I mean, it was it wasn't just me. Several of her co-workers, but like she said, and if you'd asked her mom would tell you the same thing. Matter of the boys, like we could be in the room. Matter of fact, and I know Ivy brought it up that night, but we can be in the room listening to music, watching movies. George come home, he'd go get the computer chair, pull it right in the room, and we'd all just sit and watch the same movie. because they didn't have a TV in their bedroom. So the only 2 TVs in the house upstairs is mine and
Grand Rising, Miss Marcella. How are you now?
Tia's mother. So
Okay.
Tim is completely unwilling to crack. However, detectives have just the thing to soften him up and get more answers out of him.
So obviously when
Whew. Okay, so when you talk about individuals got their little plans and it turns evil, and then you get wrapped up with the police, then people don't want to tell the truth, right? I would say in this situation, he should have probably asked for representation. But let's get into it.
we talk to everybody that we feel like has any kind of past or talking to anybody. So obviously I talked to Zena. And when I talked to her, she said that you had told her you were dating somebody named Tia. And that you told her it was a school teacher, but that when she called her, it was Tia's phone, and Tia answered while she was during Valentine's Day with George. You know about that? You don't remember that? She sent you an email talking about it. Did you read her emails?
I rarely read Zena's emails because she trash talks so much.
Okay.
Half of them get deleted, honestly.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she said every time she asked you or she confronted you about somebody, you changed which Tia it was. Why would you tell her you're dating a person named Tia?
She actually called a Tia from, what school did she say? Cedar Grove. And then she said that wasn't a Tia. So she reached out to several Tias.
Okay. But you had told her you were dating a Tia?
No, I didn't.
So why would she come up with that?
I have no idea.
You think that's weird? That you live with a Tia and she thinks you're dating a Tia?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
She sent several texts saying that she talked to the Tia, which was a coach from a math teacher from Cedar Grove. And then she said that she called 2 other Tias trying to find who I was quote unquote dating.
Okay.
But I hadn't been dating for a good minute because I tried to work it out with her and it didn't work. So
okay,
she got upset.
All right. So she said, and she said that was in May of last year. There's also an email that Tia sent you where she's talking about everybody at work hated her, and when she said her reputation was ruined, she's a homewrecker, and everybody's talking about her at work, and that she's like, "What did I do to deserve all this?" You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You do? What was that about?
Zena thought it was Tia, and she started harassing.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tia says this was coming from work. Like the people that Tia was working with at Emory were calling her a homewrecker.
From what Zena said, she said that she found another Tia that worked at the hospital.
Okay.
But she had reached out to several Tias, so she said that she was going to call every Tia she could.
All right. So Tia reached out to you a lot to talk?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, like I said, when I remember that we had your phones before, I told you we can get everything that's deleted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in that, obviously I have those emails. I have all those emails that Tia had sent you, okay? And in those emails, she talks about yours and hers relationship and talks about how good you are sexually. Mm-hmm.
Now listen here. when you gotta go and lean in just to see what it is, like what you sent, they got what they got, right? Child, this be the interesting part. Like, if you with somebody, be with that person. And if you are out there just being freely, don't be out there trying to create different relationships and things like that. People get hurt. People do not like their feelings being hurt. It's like you didn't disrespect it. It's like, oh, my pride. And so on and so forth. So do y'all feel like this guy is being totally honest in this interview? Is he holding something back? If he is holding something back, what is he holding back? What he got to hide?
So that's obviously my issue here, is that everything shows that you guys were having some kind of relationship. So I just want you to tell me why. And I know these were sent to you and you read them, because it shows us whether you opened it or not.
For a minute after this, Tim goes into a state of pure shock as he continues to read his conversations with Tia. If you look close enough, you can almost see his soul leaving his body. Unfortunately, what he says next brings this interview to a screeching halt.
So tell me, why are you lying about it?
I like the exercise, my right to plead the fifth.
Okay. Do you want to continue this conversation? Or you just don't want to talk about this?
If I can go, or if I can contact my own attorney.
Okay.
See, and this is the thing, like, why didn't you ask that before? When you felt the questions were getting heated up and things like that, why didn't you ask for your attorney then? Hey, Ariel Summers, Grand Rising, how are you? Good to see you this rising. Yes. But my thing is, why didn't you ask for your attorney like way before? Like, it doesn't make sense. You knew, like I said, if you sitting up here dating somebody and you got some extra stuff going on, and then you've got, or even let's just say this, like, because it seems like he had a jealous girlfriend, because he's saying that, I guess the sister of the girlfriend was looking people up. I mean, what was all that about? Why didn't you tell her to stop? What are y'all thoughts? Get in where you fit in. All right. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, please tell somebody that we are what? We are live.
Do you have an attorney? Okay. All right. All right. Let me talk to her right quick, and then we'll work on that, okay?
By pleading the fifth, Tim invoked his right to have an attorney present. But that doesn't matter anymore, as officers have determined that Tia and Tim's relationship was far more than platonic. Now, with the evidence stacked against Tia, they call her in for an interview. If they can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that she was complicit in the murder, both she and Tim will be living the rest of their lives behind bars.
And listen here, let me just say this. When does it become, like, where do you get to the point where you just want to delete somebody? Like, how do you get to that point? But people do get to that point. They want to delete them. And they feel like, okay, well, some people, we've heard it before. If I can't have you, nobody can have you. I got to give commentary because we are utilizing someone else's content. So fair use commentary. This is for educational and research purposes that we are utilizing other people's content. Let's go.
Hey, wait.
Yeah.
It's cold in this one.
It is.
It's burning up down there. Ugh. So, like I said, the reason I brought you back in here today is I have follow-up questions. I kind of want to go over it again because it's just at the point that we're at now. That it's been a couple months. Sometimes bringing people back in and going over the story helps us find if there was something you didn't remember the first time. The thing is with it, the first time we talked and then you came up here and then we talked to you at the house, and I understand that there were some issues with that. It had gotten pretty confrontational, I guess, the way that some people had talked to you, right, at the house?
Yes, very.
Okay. One of the things is that when we bring people in over and over, obviously I know that because of the things we were going, because of the suspected relationship between you and him, because of all of those things, you were listed, as a suspect, but you knew that, right?
I found out through, yeah.
Okay. You found out through where?
Mutual Omaha. They sent me.
Oh,
they sent
okay.
a letter every month.
Oh, okay. So because of that, like I said, I want to go over this with you again today and ask you this, but because we've already kind of come at you hard and talked to you and all that kind of stuff, and I just did the same thing with Tim in there. I have to talk to you. Is that I'm gonna have to read your rights, okay? I don't have a warrant for you right now or anything like that, but to continue talking, because it's the fourth time I've talked to you, I have to read it to you, okay?
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. If you decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements, or you can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statement. Does that make sense? You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I was talking to him and he said that you still hadn't found a job, right? Okay. How's that been?
I just not got any calls
Okay.
for anything.
Are you just applying for like medical positions or?
Mostly doctor's office and hospital.
Okay.
I've had a few coworkers.
So now, because she went to smiling and stuff when that man came up in there, he captured all that. These detectives, they look at all that body language and things like that. So now we got that smile on her face. Let's keep that smile on her face. And let's just ask like the little basic questions, about her job. People love to brag and boast about their jobs and how they just, oh my God, I just work so hard. And yes, this is my job and I love it. Right. And then I feel like he's going to swing in there and get down to the nitty gritty of the questions. She's going to have to figure that out real quick, that this is not a game. Your life is on the line and you need to be truthful. Okay. And that's just being 100% honest. If we're really going to look at this whole situation, her right there, and even like speaking without an attorney, he's already read her Miranda rights. All right, let's get into it. All right, give me one moment.
$76.
All right, let's go.
Who's trying to help me get on at their facility, but the fact that I was terminated in September, that doesn't help when they go to check a reference.
Okay. Did they not give you the option to resign, or did they terminate you before you ever
No,
got?
I wouldn't even. They terminated me on my day off.
Oh yeah.
By phone.
By phone? They called you or they texted you?
They called me.
I was about to say if they text you, that's pretty. How are the kids doing?
My older two, are doing fine. They seem to kind of go on through life like nothing has ever happened. They don't talk to me much about it. I have to try to talk to them, and it's like pulling teeth. They told me a few weeks ago it's just easier for them to act like nothing ever happened. My oldest one doesn't even like to see mail or anything with George's name on it. He's asked me to please keep stuff out of sight range. It doesn't bother my middle one to see stuff, but it does really bother the oldest one. The baby boy is having the hardest time. I don't know if it's because of his age or what, but me and him are grieving, I think, the hardest. The older two seem to just, my oldest one is in school, plays sports, works, so he's hardly ever home. He tries to stay extremely busy. So I guess he says when he's sitting idle, that's when his mind just kind of goes all over the place.
Okay. And the oldest one, is that Dylan? And is he working?
Yeah.
Okay.
Food court in Mall, Georgia.
Okay. Which restaurant does he work at?
Charlie's Cheesesteaks.
Charlie Cheesesteaks. I don't think I've ever been there. How's your mom doing?
She has her good weeks and bad. The first couple of months was awful for her. Now she has about 2 or 3 bad days a week.
Okay.
But she tries to be strong. I guess that's what moms do. That's what I've been trying to do for her.
Yeah. Has the car situation gotten any better, or?
So do y'all see how he's getting in there and he is, using the tactic of he cares about, kind of what's going on in your life, how is everybody taking it? And that, he's kind of giving her the impression like, I'm here for you, I'm listening to you, and I want to help you like get through this. But in the end, if you say something slick or if you mention something that wasn't said, then we're going to take other necessary measures. However, they do have some emails and they realize that this brother and sister relationship is not that. And so now it's going to take a turn. So now they're not going to inform them, the detectives that I'm speaking of, they're not going to inform them, but just know that they're watching. And I'm not going to mess it up. Let's go.
Using your mom's, I know you had several cars and there was problems with most of them. Is that kind of?
Yeah, the Lincoln, the engine light's been on. It's broke down several times. The BMW is what my son drives. It's been in the shop at least twice in the past couple of months.
Okay. Your mom still drives her car? Okay. Does Tim still have is it Titan?
Titan, yeah.
Okay. So what I want to do today is just kind of walk back through what you can remember. Sometimes over time, people remember things that they didn't remember the first time. I'll help kind of jog your memories or go with things that you told me. Maybe you'll tell me something you didn't remember the first time, okay? So just start out that night. I know that you said you had gone or you were in bed. Were you like in a deep sleep or were you just kind of sleeping or what was going on?
As far as I remember, I was in a deep sleep.
Okay. And then what happened?
I heard 2 loud noises. I wasn't sure if it was firecrackers or what it was. I sat up on my bed, looked around. My baby boy was still asleep. If I remember correct, I think I went to Tim's room, but he wasn't there. His light was on. Then I remember he was downstairs on the computer or a laptop at the table. I don't think I went to my mom's room right away. I think I went downstairs to where he was. And I think as I got almost down to the bottom step, he was coming up. He asked me, did I hear it? I said, yeah, I heard it. He said, it sounded like shots. I said, I'm not sure if it was shots or firecrackers or what it was, because some people in our neighborhood that are new, they periodically do firecrackers for whatever reason. I think at that point he said he was gonna go get his gun, go up to his room, go down and check, see. I remember him opening the door, shutting it pretty quick, telling me to call 911.
And that's when he told you that it was George was out there. Okay.
And I called 911. The lady goes through the whole thing. What's your emergency? And then I told her that my husband we heard gunshots and my brother opened the door and said that it was my husband. She wanted to know I think where the shots were is what she needed to know. And yeah, that's the first thing she asked. I told her.
Okay, so is it me or am I tripping? Is she just telling this story like, this was just, one of her classmates that she had lost? This is her husband. Like, she's not emotional. There's no breaking down. There's no flashbacks. There's nothing there. And it lets me know that, okay, so you're not emotional. We're talking about your husband, right? We're talking about your husband, the one that you say, yes, I do too. Right? Let's get into it.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't go down there. So she says, anybody can look that can. I said, my brother. So he looked, told me what he thought he saw. So I relayed it to her. Then she wanted me to do CPR. I don't know CPR, first of all. And if I did, I don't think I'd have been able to gather myself to do it. I don't know. Could have, but I don't think so.
It's important to note that Tia did have experience in the medical field, as she mentioned earlier that she was actively applying to medical positions. This meant it was impossible that she did not know CPR and was clearly lying. Unfortunately, this is only the start of her disgusting lies, because as she begins to talk about the murder, her behavior is anything but that of a grieving widow.
So she asked me, is there anybody that could? I asked Tim, could he do it?
So y'all see what I'm saying? Like, she did not seem like a grieving widow. It just seems like, he's gone. She's moved on. Why are we still here talking about this? I'm innocent. My kids, they doing whatever, they handling it, but we all good. But what about the therapy and the counseling for the kids? They lost their dad. No emotions, no tears. Like I said, just, it's like, whatever. Let's go.
He said, yeah. At some point, I remember throwing my phone down so he could talk to the operator. And then at some point, I don't remember. At some point, I went and got my mom. She wasn't asleep. I thought she was. She was in the room with the TV up loud.
Okay. So you were sleeping, you heard these shots, you come down, Tim's sitting at the table. You ask him if he heard that. He's like, yeah, he heard that. Did he go check out the door first, or did he go get his gun first?
If I remember right, I thought he went upstairs to get his gun first, but I didn't actually watch him go in there and get it.
Okay.
I think I remember him going up the steps heading to his room, but I can't swear to it.
Okay. And you were on the platform?
Catwalk.
Oh, you were upstairs on the catwalk thing?
Yeah, by the time he went down to check on George, that's where I was standing.
So he goes outside, he opens the door, he sees it's George. And I know at some point he put his gun up. When did he do that?
I don't know. I don't know if it was after. I don't know if it was after emergency people got. I don't know. I really can't be honest. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. So he goes outside. At some point, he puts his gun up. He sees George, and he tells you, "It's George" and whatnot. And then, is that when he tells you to call 911, or did you ever go down to the door, or no?
No.
Okay.
No. I never got to the door.
Okay.
I stood up at the top where you could see over the thing.
Okay.
All I could see was like his feet and legs on the door open.
Okay.
It's unclear whether George was shot from inside or outside the home. However, considering that the only firearm in the area belonged to Tim and that George's legs were facing the inside of the house, it's likely that the gun was fired from the inside as he fell backward, presumably by Tim, as both he and Tia admit to the presence of this weapon. Additionally, if we take into account the time it would have taken for all of this to happen, it doesn't make sense. This is because one of the neighbors clearly witnessed Tim going to the car and removing a tracker after the gunshots. The most logical explanation is that Tim had been tracking him for ages using this, and once he killed George so Tia could get the insurance, he rushed to get rid of it. This is why officers are about.
Oh my goodness. So she set her husband up with this dude because he had a tracker on him. He knew where he was, the time, the place. So he had pretty much full control over the situation. So her husband, not knowing that the tracker was on, you know what? This is a lot. Let's go.
Out to question her regarding this, as they need an answer for Tim's odd movements and his intentions.
So, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, obviously, is I've talked to Tim, and one of the things that, I'll just be honest with you, in the beginning, issues with him is, we had talked to you, and you had told us what you had told us, and there was, I won't say there was much to that, but Tim just seemed, there was a lot more confrontation going on with him during the first interview and talking to him the day that you guys came up there, because of that whole tracker thing, which you said you didn't know.
Yeah, George came to me about it, but like I said, I never knew it was actually purchased and the whole night. But
okay, so did you know the night that happened, before whatever was going on with you and Tim, that he had gone and retrieved that off the car?
no, not until you told me.
Okay.
I think it was at my house here on the 18th.
So what do you think about that? I mean, why
Well,
would
when
he?
you said it, I was floored because, like I said, first of all, I didn't even realize the tracker was ever purchased. And then when you told me that a neighbor or somebody saw him take it off, I found it really strange, and I even asked him about it later.
And what did he
I didn't
say?
ask him about it that night.
You asked him about the tracker. If my dude has a tracker on his car, who were you with? Who's tracking you? There are going to be questions. We got some questions. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's not yours, then whose is it?
He said with what George had going on or whatever about, remember I told you the guy who came to him, he said he just didn't want, I guess, George, I think he said he just didn't want George being exposed in a bad light or something like, I don't know, something like that. But I haven't asked him anything about it since.
Did you feel like that was, and I just want your opinion on it, because I'll tell you how it looks to us. Do you think that was weird that in the moment that his friend is laying out on the front porch bleeding out, his first thought is to go to the car and pull that off instead of rendering aid to George?
Yeah, I found that weird. And that was before he did CPR?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I found that strange.
Okay.
Weird. Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously I do. That's why I want to know.
Yeah.
We asked him, and he admitted that he went and did it, and he didn't have a good answer. He didn't really have an answer as to why. He said he didn't want you to find it or the family to find it, and they would know. But I said it's under the car. Who's going to look under the car? That's weird.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But let me just ask you: do you think that have you ever felt that he may have been involved in this in any way?
I don't. I mean, I know that part of it doesn't add up at all. But I personally, the only reason I don't, not the only reason, but I just never seen any beef between the two of them at the house. I've never heard George, and me and George had a really good relationship as far as he would tell me about stuff that went on or he got into it.
But my thing is, it still doesn't make sense. Your friend is sitting out there needing medical attention, and you decide to go out there and pull a tracker off rather than render the aid to him. It does not make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then there's some foul play going on. There's some foul play going on.
Somebody hack him in or whatever. But he never mentioned to me ever that they had a beef, disagreement. Like I said, even Tim had went to him several times about, I can go ahead and leave now. You gave me 6 months. You told me after 6 months, George came to me. You want him to go? Are you cool with it? I mean, it's a help to us because he's paying rent. And then at the end of the year, he came to George again. Do you want me to go? And George came to me and was like, what do you think? Because I'm cool with him being here. I go out of town so much. I feel better with him here. So it's like George never let on that he had a beef or was threatened or scared of him, or I just never witnessed anything.
You know what? See, these were the emotions that I was looking for when she was talking about her husband. She had no emotion. She had the straight resting bee face, but now she's sort of kind of understanding. Now she's being implicated in this. And so now her feelings and emotions are different. You see how he had come in, he had asked about her mom and how the family's doing. And okay, now we got past that part. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. And these are when her emotions jump into play.
And the kids haven't, and as far as I know, my mom has it. So I just that part doesn't make sense.
Do you
Why he didn't want
think
to
he
hurt
was
it.
jealous over the position that he wasn't making as much money as George?
I don't think it was that, because he was making good. Like George started, I think, at 23 an hour. I think it was 23, and his first raise was up to like 26. So I don't think it was that. And I know there's been several times George couldn't make payroll, and he had to go to David and Tim and give you half or 1,000, and I pay you the rest. And they've always said yes every time. Never know. He's never come back and told me, "Oh my God, Tim is hot," or "David is pissed." And then he's borrowed money from Tim before, and Tim told him, "Pay me back when you can." He's fixed my car several times because George didn't have the money, neither did I. And he just told George, "Pay me when you can. It's fine." And to my knowledge, George has paid him back every time. Okay. Now I know this last time, I think the last time I got it fixed was in October. That was a transmission. I think it was like over 2,300. I don't think we finished that off yet. I think we gave him maybe 13 of it. But George was in the process between the two of us paying it back. Okay. But that's the only part I don't know. If I had something to go on, something I've seen.
Child, she's saying her and George this, her and George that. Where was the energy for George when it had come to how are the kids dealing with him? Are you missing him? I never once heard say, I'm just, taking it one day at a time. Like, from visiting grieving women and grieving widow women, she doesn't show any signs of she's grieving. It's more of like she's moved on and she's happy with her new guy. And now that he's out the way, now she can really live her true and best life.
It's just nothing.
Okay. From what Tia claims, it's almost as if the relationship between her, Tim, and George was perfect. There were no disputes, and everyone was happy. But the $1 million insurance was likely something that Tia and Tim were eyeing for ages. This was something that was corroborated by David, Tim's best friend, who stated the two were planning to kill George and take the money. This is something that officers are about to confront her with.
Okay, so after talking to him
Okay, so y'all, let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that she's going to get emotional on this part? Do y'all feel like she's going to, "Oh, I love my husband" moment? I would never do that. He was my love. We shared everything. Y'all think that line is about to hit up? Let's find out together.
I talked to David multiple times, and then I talked to Tim again today, okay? I tell you right now, I have a whole lot of stuff that points to Tim had something to do with it, okay? And I know him and David were good friends and some stuff was going on. I went over there and just talked to him now. And obviously you guys knew you were coming up here and I wanted to follow up with him, but that's because I knew I was going to talk to him about the stuff that I found, okay? I'll say that conversation went pretty quickly, okay? There's not a whole lot that he was going to be able to deny. Okay, so I'm telling you that the investigation shows that he had something to do with it. The interesting part, though, is that he implicated you in it. He said you guys were in a relationship and that you were the mastermind behind all of this, and it was your idea because you wanted the $1 million life insurance policy, that's and he could take over George's job, and you guys would be set to be together. And that was the whole deal.
Well, I can tell you that's a lie. That's a lie.
So I want to hear from you the truth and what was really.
You know what? My first thing would have been the disrespect over my dead husband's body. Like these, if it wasn't true. Now, pretty much, she finds out he knows about this $1 million policy, and he knows that this dude is about to live happily ever after because this dude couldn't keep his mouth closed. That's the look that she's giving right now. She's like, I know this son of a did not go out of the plan. We didn't discuss this. And but their plan went void because their intentions. You thought that you could get away with it. What are y'all thoughts? Sound off in the comments.
Going on, because if that's what he's telling me and I already know he's involved, you see how that makes it look?
Yeah, but that's bullshit. I can tell you that's bullshit.
Okay, well tell me.
First of all, like I said, I don't know that he's involved. I don't know anything about what happened that night. Nothing.
Well, listen,
I didn't even know the policy was any good until me and Rob called a couple days later.
Okay.
So first of all, I'm used to struggling. Me and George have struggled our entire marriage financially. I would never hurt or take anybody's life for no money. And like I said, first of all, I know at one point George had $1 million one, a 450.
Listen here. Now she can recall some stuff. Now she can get into those emotions when it's talking about her and her husband. But when he asked earlier, where was the, I miss, him doing the yard work, or, I've been, having a hard time getting through. I miss my husband. None of that was going on. The first thing that she wanted to say was just being relaxed, and that the kids were just, they were just maintaining. It is what it is. But now she wants to tell us the in-depths of how her husband was good and why she would never do anything for money.
And I had a 250 on me. I knew he had at some point dropped mine. I didn't know he dropped the 450 until me and Rob started our calls and found out one was no good and the other one was. But him taking over the business, I know nothing about that. Okay. That was never a discussion we had.
One of the things that Ivy said was you told her that there was the $1 million policy way earlier last year.
Who?
Ivy.
Me and Ivy have never discussed an insurance policy, never. Now, George told me at some point that Ivy knew about it. Him and Ivy were very close, and she used to work for George remotely from Myrtle Beach. She could log on and do work for him. So at one point, I don't know, I think it was a couple of years ago, he said that.
But who is Ivy, and why does Ivy need to know about your husband's life insurance policy? It's given setup, it's given, she was fed up. She was ready to move on. And she thought that, if he was out of the way, then she could really enjoy that money with a guy that pretty much is just going to use her for it. He don't want you. He want the money. Y'all were greedy, and you took a man's life because you wanted to live off of the earnings of the life insurance policy. Let's go.
That an email that I guess the insurance company sent him, Ivy saw it, or I don't know if she could access I think she could access his massive email. And so he told me, he said, now Ivy knows about the insurance, policies that we have, but me and Ivy would have always been close. I was closer to her than any of the other ones. So even when he mentioned to me that she knew about it, I was cool with it. I mean, that's fine. We were close, so I didn't care that she knew. But like I said, I knew he had a policy, but I didn't know it was active because I knew he had dropped one, I don't know, earlier last year. So I didn't know if any of them were any good. I didn't. Okay. So no conversation ever went on about no insurance, him taking over no business, or none of that. That's bullshit. Okay. I don't even know why he'd say that because that never happened.
I guess obviously the concern is, I'm telling you, the thing with him is he got the tracker. He got it. He had tried to put some apps on George's phone before then, and he said George knew about those. I know for a fact George didn't know because I have his text messages where he explained to George that it was Zena, that Zena was trying to do that to him. But I know for a fact they only were signed up through his phone because I could tell that he did that. So he was trying to find ways to track George, and George didn't know it, which is why I have a hard time believing about him knowing that the tracker was going to be on the car, because he didn't know about the other stuff on the phone. Because why would you explain to him Zena did it and explain it away if he knew that's what you were trying to do? You would just tell him, this is what I'm doing. Because when he downloaded those apps, it sends a notification to the person you're trying to track. So George was like, why am I getting this notification? You're trying to track my phone. And he said, oh, well, Zena's been trying to track me, which is not.
Now listen, we're getting somewhere. Now the tracker has come back up. Now she has the account for them. He did not know that he was being tracked. And then there are notifications. He's upset, like, why am I being tracked? These are questions that have to be answered. Okay, let's go. How do y'all feel like it's going to go? Is it going to go in her favor? Or, I mean, is she innocent? Is she guilty? Y'all let me know in the comment.
Not true.
Okay, yeah, this is new to me.
Also, he was looking at that app for the tracker, which in his words is only supposed to be in case something was going to happen to him, to find the truck, not him, which is weird that you're only worried about the car and not him. And if he was looking at it from the day that he bought it on the 6th, he was looking at it every single night. And he was looking at it the night before George came home.
You on the night of the 16th?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so the tracker sends a message to his phone? I mean, I'm confused.
Okay, so a couple of days prior to the murder, earlier in the month of November, he tried to download these apps on your phone, just like an iPhone app or a Samsung Android, I'm not sure how that one works, where you can track somebody's phone. Well, when you do that, you're not allowed to do that without their permission. So when you put in that person's number that you want to track, it sends them a notification. I have it on George's phone where he got the notification and then asked,
Okay.
Tim, why am I getting this? And he said, oh, Zena's trying to track me because of stuff going on with her. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry about it. But I know for a fact he signed up for it because it came to his email through his phone number that he signed up for it. He has to download the app on the phone. So you see what I'm saying? So George didn't know he was trying to track him. Otherwise, he would have been like, hey, I'm tracking you because we talked about this.
Now, look, now she's finding out the participant that was supposed to enjoy the $1 million allegedly with her has left tracks. He did a very dirty job. He didn't think it through, and he left a paper trail. And that paper trail is linked to that email. Let's go. How do y'all think that she's going to react to this? Y'all think that she's just going to be relaxed? Okay. You know, why would he do this? Or, you know what? Or where's my attorney? Or what is she going to say next?
Before, remember?
Oh, okay. I
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then he got that actual tracker and was using it, the one he put on the car.
Okay.
He was looking at that one on his phone.
Okay.
We have the app, and I can show every time he opened it, every single night from the night that he bought it up until the night of the murder. And he was looking at it the night of the murder before George got home. So he knew when George was going to be home because he was watching him on the map.
Okay, so. Oh, Jesus. Wow. So
yeah, that's a lot. Because he went outside of the plans. This is not what you expected. And you never win when you play dirty. You know? And all for money. Let's hear what she has to say.
And before that,
he had somebody do. I'm lost.
That's what I'm asking you.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Before that, he was researching all kinds of poisonous things online. He researched black mamba venom, which is the most venomous snake in the world. You cannot buy their venom online like he was trying to over 27 times. That's how many times he looked it up to try to find. He tried to find the venom, then he tried to find breeders where he could buy the snakes himself. You see how that looks? And then a week later, you buy a trap.
Child, don't it sound like, you know, don't hurt them, you know, do something that's like actually gonna hurt them. It sounds like that's the way that she wanted it to be smooth. She wanted it to be an easy transition. Her dude was on there looking up venom to purchase over 27 times. Let's get into it.
Copyright Act 1976.
Tracker to put on his car, and then I know that you're looking at it the night of the murder. And the first thing you did, instead of helping your friend, was run out to the car and take the tracker off. Who does that? You know what I'm saying? In front of a jury, when you look at that and say, what would a reasonable person do? No reasonable person would jump over a dead body or somebody who's dying to go pull something off a car. That would be the last of their worries.
Right.
So that's my question to you. Now, the problem is that now he's bringing you into it.
I have nothing to do with it and know nothing about it. That's what I'm saying.
So you called the insurance the very next day, right?
After the next day or 2 days later, I can't
Yeah.
remember.
So it was the next day. And do you see how that looks though?
But my mom could tell you if you talk to her. She started bothering me that next morning.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Tia, you need to, do you have insurance? How are you going to do a funeral or anything? And I said, Mommy, and she.
You know what? My question or my response would have been, can I at least grieve him first? Can I at least grieve first? Can I not worry about all that just right now, right away? Can I not think about that right now? Can I figure out what's going on, who's going to be arrested, and what their sentence is going to be? For me, it wouldn't have been that. Now it's to let me blame everybody else. What do y'all think she's going to say next?
She could tell you if you call her right now before I can even reach her. I said, Mama, I can't deal with that now. I'll worry about that later. I said, I'm overwhelmed with what just happened. And so she kept saying that. And matter of fact, it was her and I'm not sure. It might have been even after George's mom and
Why
his
did
sisters
you want to
arrived.
call the insurance that soon though, the very next day?
That's what I'm saying. My mom is the one that kept telling me I needed to call.
Okay.
She kept, because she knew I didn't have a job. She said, how are you going to do a funeral if you don't know if he has a policy? And I said, Mama, I'll get to that in a couple of days. I said, right now I'm overwhelmed with what just happened. This was he died on Thursday. This was like Friday. When I had several people, like friends asking me, do you have insurance? Do we need to take up something for funeral? And I said, my mom keeps bugging me, but I haven't called yet. So then even Rob, when I talked to Rob said, do you know if Cuz had insurance? And I said, I don't know. Mommy keeps bugging me about calling. So that's when Rob said, well, let me look for the policy with you. We'll call together before I leave. So that wasn't my first reaction. Like I said, you can call my mom right now and she would tell you. Okay. She was the one egging me on that I needed to call because she was worried about funeral expenses. She knows she only gets $1,300 a month. She knows I didn't have a job. So her big thing was, what are we gonna do about a funeral with no money? But after I called, she said it was effective. She said, I'm gonna email you the papers I need to fill out. You can isolate it. She emailed them, I think, to me on Friday. I didn't even print them off, I don't think, till like Saturday or Sunday. Mommy kept asking me, have you filled the things out? Have you printed them? If you even call the insurance company, I don't think I sent them the stuff till the next week or a week and a half later. Because I wasn't in a rush because it's like I was too overwhelmed with everything that was.
No, you was just trying to plot it out and give it some time. You wanted to make sure it was active. And then you like, no, I can't do it right now. We got to give it some time. So you were over there, you were plotting and planning once again on how to spend this $1 million policy. You went into criminal mode. Well, if I move too fast, then it's gonna look suspicious. Baby, it's already looking suspicious. It's too late to say, oh, it's looking suspicious now. Baby, it's been looking suspicious. There was no emotions when you're talking about your husband. There is nothing there. But there's emotion when you're being pointed out and the facts are being presented. Then the guy ran over to get the tracker off instead of giving CPR. Then you say, oh, I don't know how to do it.
What's going on? But yes, I made maybe 3 calls, I think, to Mutual of Omaha since then. I stopped calling. They told me about, 10, 11, 12 weeks ago, Miss Young, whenever you're cleared or whatever, we will call, send an email, and mail you something in the mail. You don't have to keep calling. I haven't called them since, and it's probably been close to 3 months. So it's not like, I don't keep, I just write it out in my head, and I've told numerous people who have said, did you get your life insurance? A lot of people don't know how much it is. But have you gotten your life insurance? I said, no, it's still an investigation. I told them I haven't even called.
And one of the other things is that we get these Crime Stoppers tips.
Yes.
And both of these right here have him listed on it that people want us to look into him. You see what I'm saying? So
I see
it's
what you're
just
saying.
it's one thing after another.
I see what you're saying, but I can tell you, I don't know nothing about it.
Okay.
I would never trade my husband's life ever for money. And I've made that comment to numerous of family members and friends, and I mean it. I really mean it. Because that doesn't.
Well, you're explaining that to them. Why would you have to explain that to them? Why is that even up for speculation? What did what was y'all's relationship really like? You know? And it makes you wonder if she's telling these little bitty lies, what other big secrets and lies do she have in store for us? Do y'all believe she's gonna lie some more? I feel like she is now she's in defense mode, and now she's trying to get around it and push it towards that guy. I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't know he did that. But these emails between he and she are going to say something different. And then look, she's going to have a silly face. Let's go.
Replace him or my kids having a father.
Correct. So why do you think that Tim's going to be doing something like this?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. This is new to me. None of this makes any sense to me.
So
None of
you guys were, so what is he, so what about the part where he says that you and him have been in a relationship for a long time?
We have not. We've been in a very close friendship. He's like, we started off like, I mean, it's like we're brothers. First of all, it was like he was a stranger when he first came, because I haven't seen Tim probably in 15, 20 years since he was young. The longer he was there, because he is very quiet, we became close. But that I'm not understanding that either. I don't know.
One of the things I talked to Zena, his ex, and she said that she had found out through him that he was seeing somebody named Tia, and that he had been calling around and he kept changing up which Tia it was. And then she called you one day when you and George were at a hotel or something like that and confronted you. Do you remember that?
She didn't call me and George. Okay. She called my job. She called my the hospital that I work at, and asked me some questions. She asked me, was I Tia? She didn't ask Young. She said Tia. It was another last name she asked.
Okay. So she states that she works at a hospital, but earlier she said that she didn't know how to do CPR and things like that. So you're affiliated in the medical field and you don't know how to give CPR?
Asked me, I can't remember what the girl's name was, and I said no, but I'm Tia Young. And she said, do you know Tim? I said, yeah, Tim lives with us. So she said, oh, she said, so you're George's wife? I said, yes, I'm Tia Young. She said, do you know anything about a Tia, whatever the girl?
So hold on. So he was living with them. So this guy was living under this man's roof, and God knows what him and that wife was doing. Only God knows what him and that wife was doing, but it wasn't nothing good. They wasn't, that man, she's dirty. How you did that man up in his own house?
Anyway, the girl worked for DeKalb County. She was a teacher or a band coach or something, I don't know. So she asked me some questions, and do I know anything about Tim and messing with this girl named Tia who worked for DeKalb? I said no.
Okay. Do you know a Christy Lewis?
I've heard of Christy. I think it's one of Tim's friends from Mississippi or Alabama.
Okay. Because it looks like, I don't know. He was emailing her back and forth. He said, I apologize for everything. I wish all this could stop, but I feel like I'm going to end up dead over all of this. Sorry for getting you involved.
Yeah, I know. I never met her. I know he has a best friend, close friend named Christy.
Well, they've been talking more than that. They've been talking romantically through the summer of last year.
Okay.
There's another girl named Candy. Do you know Candy?
I've heard of Candace. I think that's a girl
Okay, so listen. So everything wasn't squeaky clean in their relationship. He wanted to leave and she let old boy know, because I got a feeling that the husband knew that, there was something going down, but he wanted to bow out gracefully and then address the mess. I don't think that he wanted to get out of that marriage safe and sound and then move on and then tell a story if he decided to. Well, she says, well, he had a girlfriend named Candace. I didn't think he dated her.
Well, he had a girlfriend named Candace. I think that he dated here, but then there's one from Myrtle Beach, I think.
You know she lives in Stone Mountain?
The Candace that I know lives in Georgetown and Myrtle Beach.
This one may have moved.
Could have.
But he was talking to her last summer too.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I know he's got an ex named Candace and then a girl from Myrtle Beach who used to kick it with named Candace. None of these girls I've ever met.
Okay. So what do you say about the whole him saying you and him have been in a relationship? I know I just asked you that, but why would he just come up with that to say that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. Yes, we were close. Like I said, very, very close. And since George has died, we've come a little closer, but I think it's more so because he has, I mean, my boys really look up to him because my kids, we don't have any family.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any uncles. George has one brother.
Wait a minute. So you didn't already replace this man. So now it's going to be daddy's friend to now it's stepdaddy. So you didn't, everybody was going to move on your terms. Everybody was moving at your pace. Whatever mama wanted, she was going to get. And I'm pretty sure when I get that money, she was probably bragging, when I get that money, I'm going to get the hell away. And that's why some people probably called in on her. Because her manic attacks, like when she would get frustrated, the things that she would say. I wonder who heard and who reported.
Brother that they met for the first time when George died. So they don't have any male figures, so they really look up to him. So now they call him Uncle Tim. My middle son even said to me, and I think I had a text message on my phone a few weeks ago, that he kind of looks up to Tim almost like a dad figure because we don't have any men in our life.
In his phone, he had you saved in his phone as Big Sis. You knew about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hold on, this is what I'm talking about. So he's referring to her as Big Sis. The kids are saying, oh my God, I can see him as a dad. Who told that kid that? That kid is still grieving his dad. I believe that this is her doing. She's pissed off because now she's caught. She can't enjoy the million. And now she's got herself in a tizzy and she can't bag out of it.
This is your phone from your phone. Why is he saved under Sonia under your phone, both of his phones?
That's just what I put in. His older sister name is Sonia.
And why would you do that though? Unless that looks like you're trying to cover up him being in your phone, like you didn't want George or somebody.
Oh no, there's quite a few people in my phone that I don't have under the actual name.
Okay. So one of the things that, like I told him is that when
But why would you have to disguise his name? If your dude knows about him, why disguise your name? Or why disguise his name in the phone? Why isn't it under Tim? Why isn't it under Tim? What is it that you and Tim have to hide? So let me guess. Oh, this is a Sonia. Let me go outside and take this call.
took his phones, we could get everything that was done, okay? So obviously, I was able to retrieve everything that was off of his phone, okay? And so I have all of these emails that you sent him talking about yours and his sexual relationship. You remember those?
Yes.
Okay.
Much like Tim, Tia took the route of denying her secret relationship. So appropriately, officers gave her the Tim treatment of showing her the sexual texts, which is when you can visibly see her expression change. With this, the pressure on Tia is at an all-time high, and the detective won't let this opportunity slip from his hands as he begins to make Tia realize exactly the kind of situation she's in.
So this is where we're at, Tia. Okay, I want you to listen to me.
Now look at this. Tia. If you had went in there and told them folks what was up, I think that, you would have had a better chance as far as like sentencing. You took accountability. This is what you did. It was wrong. And you want to take full responsibility for it. I think that's what you should have done, because what you did was wrong to your husband. It was wrong. And all over some money. If it wasn't working out, then move on. Find you somebody else that's going to love you unconditionally. But taking those actions, there are consequences.
I know what's been going on. I know Tim's involvement. I also know there's a lot more that's been going on here, okay? What I want from you now is to understand all of this, because what it looks like is you're this hateful, horrible spouse that connived with your live-in boyfriend to kill your husband for money. If that's how it is, then that's fine. You can tell me that. But if that's not what happened, then this is your only chance to tell me what was really going on.
That's not what happened.
Then tell me this is your only chance to tell me what's really going on, because everything else looks really bad. And I'm telling you right now, if you put all of this in front of a jury without your explanation of it, that's exactly what they're gonna think.
I did not have anything to do with George's death.
Okay.
And definitely nothing dealing with him wanting him dead for money. Nothing at all.
See, didn't I just say that? If you sit up here if you take accountability for your actions, you get further in life, right? Take accountability and walk in your big woman underwear. You was walking in those big underwear when you decided to do what you do and plot and plan.
Okay. So you're willing to let all of that stand in front of a jury?
Yes, as far as having anything to do with his death, yes, I am. I am. Because I know I had nothing to do with it. Nothing.
Okay, but you've been having a relationship with Tim. What has he said to you?
He hasn't never said anything about wanting to hurt George ever or taking over the business. That's why I'm sitting here like, this is new to me. He's never said he wanted to take over Metro Atlanta Security. He's never told me he wanted George dead. He never said he was going to try to hurt George. Never. Not once.
All right. So George got home at 11:23, okay? And he had just gotten off the phone. And when he got off the phone, he came inside.
So listen here. Now it's time to bring out the real evidence. Okay, so now, Tia, since you want to play this little game of I don't know what's going on, now the detective is bringing out the evidence of what happened. Okay, well, here's some phone calls, here's some records, and I gave you the opportunity to be honest with me. I had all the evidence sitting over here, but I'm not going to tell you that. What's her response?
Or came to open the door. And that's when people remember hearing the shots around that same time, too, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The 911 call was not placed till 10 minutes later when you guys called. Now, in that time, I've gone over the story with you multiple times, and you've told me that he opened the door, he saw it was George and all of that. So I can tell you that when I go back and listen to the 911 call, that it is absolutely 100% completely staged. The things you told the dispatcher, you had already done and already said.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't, and I wasn't.
Why not?
Because he told me to call 911, and that's exactly what I did, and everything the lady
And then
asked
while
me.
you're on the phone with her, he says, oh, there's somebody got shot. And then he says, oh, can you send an ambulance? My brother now says it's my husband that was hit. But you already knew that.
I didn't. When I made the call, when he told me to call 911, the lady asked me, I said, I heard some shots. She asked me, I believe she asked me, I don't know, I think she might have asked me, did I know who it is?
So now she can't get her words together. So he told me to call 911. Why wouldn't you dial 911 anyway? You know, you heard the pow pows. Why wouldn't you dial 911? Is something going on? You don't know who it hit. It could have been one of your children. So you're just going to just sit there and just, you know, prolong the situation, call 10 minutes later because you were waiting it out. Y'all both were nervous. Y'all were coming up with y'all's plan. What we gonna say? Those are my thoughts about it.
Is or whatever. I don't remember. I don't remember all the details. But what I'm saying is when I called, it was not staged. I called as soon as I heard the shots, went and found Tim. Well, what I thought at first was firecrackers. I wasn't sure what it was. And went and found Tim, and he checked and told me whatever the time frame was to call 911. That's what I did.
Okay.
Nothing. I did not stage the conversation or any of that.
Okay. Well, talk to me about this then. How did this happen? How did you guys enter into this relationship while he's living in the house behind George?
I don't remember when it. I don't remember exactly when it started. I think it was around the time that.
So now you don't remember the time that you gave up your goods to this man under the roof of your husband, and you want me to believe that this was not plotted, this was not planned, there were no conversations. How was it no conversations? You were being intimate with this man. Y'all had conversations on when y'all was gonna hook up. Y'all had a lot of communicate. Oh, you knew how to communicate then. So now you're telling me that you don't know how to communicate? So all of a sudden, out the blue, now you don't know how to communicate.
That I thought George was messing with the girl Mariah. I never had any real proof. I saw something on his tablet at one point, and I questioned him about it. He denied it. He said, you know, he was not sleeping with her. She was just a secretary for him and Rob. I didn't have anything to worry about, but to me, I felt like it was more to it than that.
Okay. So
and the reason why she felt like it was more to it than that is because the roommate, the live-in boyfriend, was working with her husband. He wanted to take over the business. He was feeding her some information, and she took the bait. She took the bait.
We're pursuing this relationship because even in your emails, it sounds like Tim was trying to cut it off, and you were the one that was continuously talking to him and continuing it, right?
I was hurt about it, yeah, because I found out he was, you know, he had told me he wasn't talking to Zena anymore. He wasn't messing with, you know, anybody else anymore. Just kind of got caught in some lies, and I questioned him about it.
Notice how freely she is talking about their hidden relationship while just minutes ago, she was denying it fervently. Because of this, officers have chalked down her personality profile to being a compulsive liar, something which will bite her in the back when she is brought to trial.
So, you know, these messages were in that phone, okay, the day that we went to go do the search.
Now you see what I'm saying? He just said the same thing. This woman is sitting up here. She is lying. Instead of her taking accountability, where is the accountability? They're going to see it as you're just lying your way up out of it. Just like you lied your way. And I'm assuming maybe the husband kind of suspected something between her and him. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about the tracker that was found on his vehicle, old boy goes over there and take it off. Let's wake it up.
When you called Kim and told her to go get the phone, is this what you were worried that we were going to find?
To be honest, yes.
Well, that's what I want is honesty.
To be honest, yes, I was.
Okay, because this looks really bad.
To be honest, yes, I was very afraid of that part, yes.
And you've been in this house and you've been living with him, and whether or not you guys are in a relationship, I don't know because I'm not in there anymore, but that's what it looks like. And I know that he's not just living in this house and nothing has been said. So if you know something, I need you to explain it to me and help me, because he's going to implicate you and he can take you down with him. Okay? And I don't think you want that. So that's why I'm telling you, what do you know? What has he said? What is going on?
Nothing as far as the murder of Mr. Smith. Nothing. I don't know that Tim had anything to do with it. He has not opened up, confessed nothing to me. Like I said, we discussed the tracker, I think once, and that was the night after we left here, when you told me that somebody said they saw him getting it before they helped George or whatever it was. But as far as the case, we don't even discuss it. Like, there's very few times during the week that we even bring it up. I don't even like talking about it to my mom. I'm trying to move on as far as me and my youngest child. My older two are doing fine. My youngest one is not. So as far as the case, I don't even talk to him much about the case.
Every time that I've talked to you, it's kind of been a different story about what happened that night. And I understand it can be traumatic, but when things like this happen, people don't forget those kinds of things. So that also makes it look like, because what he told me where he saw you that night and what happened was not true. And what you told me that you saw him, it was always different.
Exactly. And whether if you are getting through it or not, those emotions, when it's speaking about your husband, there are no emotions. There's nothing going on there, sister. And you want people to show compassion for you.
I just don't understand that. Okay? Obviously him going out and getting a tracker and that kind of stuff, it's just not right. The fact that he had $1 million life insurance policy and you called the next day. One point you told me that you went to wake up your mom and you were on the catwalk with her and
no, she was never asleep. I never.
Well, okay, no, wait. You went to go get your mom and you brought her on the catwalk with you. One time you said you stood out there, you talked to her. That's what I can hear in the 911 call. The time before that, you said you took her into your bedroom and put her in the closet so she wouldn't wake up your kids.
When she started having a breakdown, yeah, I took her in the closet.
She told me that didn't happen.
She told you what? Did she have a breakdown?
She told me she never went into your room and went into the closet.
This woman didn't have. She tried to have the mother lie. The mother was like, no, I'm not lying. I am not lying to these people. So you didn't try to get the mama involved to lie. Now, you should have confessed all this early, because now the mother can be subpoenaed and testify against you. Let's go.
This whole gun running thing, okay, I looked into it. You gave me a totally different story than he did. You said it was some Cuban guy named Carlos. He said it was Terrence Bannerman, the pudding guy that you grew up with. I found Terrence. I know that stuff's not true.
The Carlos guy is
but
true.
why would you tell me Carlos and he brings up some guy? Those are not even related at all.
I have no idea. The only thing I can tell you is about the Hispanic looking guy that came to the house looking for him. And when I didn't call George right away, I didn't even text him. I waited till he got home that night and I told him about the guy coming by. George's eyes got real big. He looked at me and I asked him, what in the world is this about? Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. It's somebody I got some financial help from. Don't worry about it. And then I said, George, you need to tell me, because this guy said he means business. Is this something, are you into something that would jeopardize us? What's going on? And he just said something to the fact, he said, I'm just running weapons or delivering weapons or something like that. He said, but you don't need to worry about it.
So then every time after that, when I asked you, is there any reason anybody would want to hurt him?
Absolutely. Why didn't you say that at first? That would have been the first thing, because, okay, if there was anybody, well, I know he's in this business. I know it doesn't look good, but he's in this business. He does this with the weapons and the firearms or whatever. And, why wasn't that mentioned? Now you want to mention that.
Never mentioned it until we brought it up to you.
Yeah, that night when he was killed, I didn't think of it.
Why would you not think about somebody coming to your house, asking for money, looking for your husband, talking about running guns?
But it was 2 or 3 months before that. I didn't think of it at all.
Okay. How come that most of the messages and phone calls from you and Tim are deleted in your phone?
Listen here, I don't care what's going on. That's something that you never forget. I wouldn't feel safe after that phone call. or that visit or whatever the case may be, however we were notified and I knew of it, I wouldn't have felt safe no time after that.
But they're all in his.
I mean, what you talking about? The phones you have?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would delete them. I would periodically delete them.
Okay.
There's even another coworker that I talked to that I would delete the calls from.
All right. And that night, you gave your middle son the Unisom, correct?
Yeah, but I give him. I mean, he gets that a couple times.
Yeah. Well, he had before, but when we spoke to him, he said he hadn't gotten it in a long time, and that was the very first night he'd gotten it in a long time, in over a month.
It probably been a couple of weeks, I guess.
You see what I'm saying, though? That night, the night that he normally goes out in the middle of the night between 9 and midnight is the night your husband comes home at 11 p.m. and gets killed. It makes it look like you gave it to him so that he wouldn't wake up during that time period. And it's also weird that we're there, the ambulance comes, the police come, we walked in their rooms and went everywhere, and none of them woke up in any of that.
But I asked. Me and my mom both asked everybody that came in the house. My mom, she was the first one that started asking, please be quiet. My grandchildren are asleep. My daughter doesn't want the kids to wake up.
I know, but the ambulance and everybody coming in and out, and none of them ever woke up.
But
that's the first night he got that pill. You see what I mean?
It's not the first time he had it. That's what I'm saying.
In a while.
It had been a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't give it to the oldest one, and I don't give it to the baby. Well, I've had to start giving it to the
Child, listen here. So she took necessary measures to make sure that this was silent, clean, and everybody was just going to have to wake up to it. Okay.
The youngest one now to be able to get some sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Either Benadryl, I'll give him Benadryl or either a Unisom. He doesn't get it every night, but he can't sleep since George died.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my middle son is the only one that will walk and pace the house 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and then don't want to get up for school the next day. Mm-hmm. My oldest one, I don't think I've ever had to give him anything for sleep. But he slept through everything because we were quiet. We asked the police would they be quiet as much as possible. When some guy came around, he had to take pictures of the rooms. I asked him, was there any way he could not go in that room where the boys?
But why was that your concern? Even on the 911 call, you tell them don't come lights and sirens. Your husband is laying out on the front.
Listen here. That's what I'm saying. If that happened, I want the sounds, everything. Everybody get out the way so they can get here. If it was a random person. Now she's got the silly face.
Front porch dying, and you're worried about the kids waking up?
I didn't want my kids to see my husband bleeding to death on the front porch, Mr. Smith.
I understand that to an extent, but I just think you would be worried about him and not, I mean, your kids gonna find out.
I wanted her to send help, but I didn't want her to if my kids had saw their dad laying in the front doors dead, I didn't want them to have that picture in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like any mom would have done, just like my mom did it for me. When my dad committed suicide in 2007, I was upstairs asleep. He hung himself in the basement. Mm-hmm. She let me sleep upstairs and did not wake me up until she was hoping he would be removed from the basement before they woke me up. But I ended up waking up on my own because of the commotion.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the same thing my mom did for me. And I was a grown woman, but she didn't want me to wake up and see my dad hanging in the basement. And I was in my 30s when he died.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you got.
Child, now she didn't, Lord rest that man. So now she didn't drug her daddy in it and him in the basement. We're not, with all due respect, rest in peace. We're not talking about that, sweetheart. We're talking about your husband. Okay, can we stick to the facts and the topic?
It doesn't look good. And I'm telling you right now that I have no reason to lie to you because I have all this information to go in there that I went in there and talked to him. And I just went in there with him. I didn't come in here and sit down and talk to him like I did you. I went in there and laid all of this out in front of him. And that's what he told me.
Well, I don't know why he would.
So why would he do that?
I don't know. I guess if he feels like he's going down, maybe he's just gonna try to take me with him. I don't know. I would never imagine him doing that, but that's the only thing I can figure. Because he's never said one thing about one. Matter of fact, it's hard for me to believe Tim even said that. I'm not calling you a liar, but what I'm saying is he knew, just like Rob knows, the only people who didn't know was George's family, that when George died, this company died. When he died, his alarm license dies with it. Nobody can run Metro Atlanta security once George dies. That's it. Because Ivy thought that was her big thing. Me and my brothers and sisters, we're going to keep the business going. I said, you can't. When your brother passed away, he said that years ago. That's why he wanted Tim, hopefully that Tim and David would one day maybe get their license so they could help run, they could equally run the company. But
so you sat here and told his siblings that they could not continue on his legacy? You would have had $1 million. You telling me that there was no way for you to reinvest and you still stay in the business as well? That's still a stream of income, whatever his business was. Let's go.
when George died, the company died. We all knew that. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. How would it's hard for me to believe he would say that he wanted to take over the business.
Oh, he said it, trust me. And then right here, he's talking to David. The day before he bought the tracker, he says, David says, we need to get a spot. And Tim says, you think? And then Tim says, I got to end this mess first. And then David says, yep, you definitely do. And then the very next day, he buys the tracker.
Well, I know that he even knows the company can't be ran because neither one of them have an alarm license.
Okay, but what about the $1 million life insurance policy? And you guys being in a relationship, all of that stuff together.
Mr. Smith, I don't never get the $1 million. I could care less. And I voiced that to my mom, my aunts. George's mom can tell you. She can tell you, I've been saying it for the past 2 or 3 months because she's worried about it. When are you going to get paid? What are you going to do with the kid? How are you going to? I said, Margie, I'm to the point, I don't give a shit if I don't ever get the money. I'm just tired of all the stress. I just want to move on this grief, dealing with BJ, dealing with all the things I'm dealing with. I don't give 2 shits about the money if I don't ever get it. I know how to work. That's what I've been doing the past 2 or 3 years, working $15,000, $20,000 of overtime a year. I know how to work. So if I don't get it, it's fine. That's why if you call me to my mom, they can tell you, I ain't called in months. I don't care anymore. So the money is not an issue for me. I mean, yes, I need money, and we all do need money to live, but if I don't ever get it, that's fine. Matter of fact, I even have, the courts gave me, I got his probate, whatever you call it, executive estate paperwork. I think it was like January 25th, maybe. I've only been to one bank to see if there was money in it, and that was Regions. And I knew that's where his paycheck went, his last paycheck went. But I think he has a Wells Fargo account. I think he has a Bank of America account. I haven't been to any of them banks with the statements to try to see what's in them, to see if I could get it. I don't care. Even my mom keeps saying, Tia, with the way money is tight around here, why don't you go to those banks and see what he has? It might be something to help this household. I still haven't been.
I think she didn't do that because it was gonna trigger off that she was checking those accounts. And she was waiting for the big money to hit, and then that's when she was gonna start splurging. But if she had started splurging, she was gonna get too excited, the money was gonna dry up, and then of course they're still under investigation.
So money, that's what I'm saying, to make this out like I'm doing it for money. Or it was for money.
I'm telling you that's what it looks like, and that's what he's telling me.
Well, that's some bull. I can tell you that. That's some bull. Yes, I will admit, and I apologize for lying. I am very embarrassed about this. I really am. I am.
And you guys are still in a relationship now?
Yes, to be honest, yes. I'm just going to be honest.
Well, that's what I want. Because listen, Tia, I'm telling you this is how it looks, and I keep telling you this. He's going to try to take you down with him. And I'm telling you, when he gets up there and he starts talking about everything and what you did, and you don't have anything to counter that, and you don't have a way to say, no, that's BS because this is actually what happened, or this is what he told me, or that's right there is going to be a huge issue. You see what I'm saying? Are you ready to go to jail today for this?
No, because I know I'm guilty of this, and this is wrong.
Then tell me, there's no way he's been living under your roof and you've been in a relationship and you don't know that something was happening.
As far as this, you talking about hurting George or having a sexual, no, that part I don't.
Tia,
that part I don't. That part I don't. The part, the affair, I'm very, very.
But see, even when you talk about the affair and y'all are like hooking up and things like that, you're being very intimate. This is somebody that you love. And, now things are going good with you. Why wouldn't you want some privacy and your husband out the house? Because you got you some nudie.
Very embarrassed. I can't tell you how embarrassed I am. I really am. I'm sorry that I never told you.
Continued it past your husband dying?
The first 2 months we did. It started back up around the 1st of March. The first couple of months we didn't. We called it up. We just stopped because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was afraid that my boys would end up picking up on something is wrong or catching us kissing or something. So we both said the boys have been through enough, and I didn't want to chance them seeing anything inappropriate to send them off, because I'm sure it would hurt them deeply that I'm talking to Tim and Daddy's just not too long ago died. So I think it might have been like the middle of February or 1st of March when we kind of got and talk, kind of get romantic again. But up until then, no.
Okay. So you don't know anything about
nothing about the crime. I do not know nothing. I have no explanation for that. None. And if, like I said, I can give you a list of people you can call before I even have access to my phone. They will tell you Kim Drayton, Candace Hoover, Trina. I can name 4 or 5 that I've told over the past few months. I don't give a shit if I don't ever get the money. It ain't about, and a lot of them don't know how much it is, but they know I have a life insurance policy. And I told them, I just want this stress to be over. I'm tired of the stress. The money, I could care less. And like I said, my mom will tell you right now, she's pissed because I won't go to Wells Fargo and Bank of America to see what money's in there and take it out. Because she said, Tia, we need it to live. I told her I don't want to deal with nothing. When I get depressed, I deal with depression anyway.
Tia was so depressed that she called her dead husband's insurance company to claim $1 million one day after he died. Clearly, she had no kind of solid alibi or defense for all the evidence stacked against her, which is why the detective leaves and returns a short while later to break the news to her.
So listen here. So when you talk about a wife, like when the husband goes or the wife goes, whoever their spouse is, you're already going to be number one on their radar. You're already going to be number one on their radar. And for her to have this relationship under the roof with her kids, with her husband, and they're working behind the scenes, like I said, that dude was feeding her information on what was going on at that job, what she didn't see. He was coming back and telling her. And yeah. So now it's time for her to get the big news. How do y'all think that she's going to react to it? Surprised? Shocked? Is she going to say this is all wrong? Y'all have it all wrong? What's she going to say? Let's see.
Hey, Tia. Listen, I went and talked to Tim some more, okay? Obviously his story's not changing, okay? He's implicating you and he's bringing you into this and all that kind of stuff, okay? So unfortunately you are gonna have to go to jail tonight, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right. Can I call my mom?
Well, let me ask them to see what they want to do and I'll let you know right quick, okay? Just wait right here for a second.
All right, Tia, if you could stand up for me, please. Okay. Turn and face the wall. If you want to take off your visitor pass. Okay. You don't have anything in your pockets, do you?
No keys.
Your keys? Okay. Where's your cell phone?
It's in the car.
In the car? Okay. If you want to just put your hands on the wall. That's fine. I don't know much about what's going on, okay, but I know if you have anything on you that could be deemed a weapon or anything like that, you could get in more trouble. Okay, you don't have anything on you? Not even like a dime bag weed or nothing like that? Okay. Separate your feet for me. Okay. Okay. Do you want to put your hands behind your back over yours? Yeah. I will get you a bag and put all your property in it.
Grand Rising.
After Tim and Tia were arrested, many believe that the real ones to suffer in this situation were the children. who neither had a mother or father, nor would they receive the $1 million from the insurance as the beneficiary's trial had to conclude first. There were fears it would take years before the children had money to live off. Fortunately, a GoFundMe was set up to support the children, and just 2 years later, Georgia's killers were brought to justice. On April 15, 2019, Tim was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, as they were found guilty of malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. As for Tia, she was found guilty of the same charges, with an additional charge of tampering with evidence. Consequently, she was given life in prison with the possibility of parole.
So what are y'all thoughts on that, child? We had some celebrity news. We did the, I don't know, I was just trying to give you all a variety, you know. So for those of you that were on the third shift, I really hope that you are all able to make it to the end of the shift. It should be over or getting close to being over. Okay. We got Spilly Girl TV in here. Says, Grand Rising to you. How are you? I need to rip all bag. Yes. Yeah, but you get a variety here. Thank you for coming by this rising. Yes. I'm so excited. Well, listen here. I'm going to go ahead and take off. I'll drop you off in Queen City. And make sure you share the live with somebody. Tell somebody that we were live and get them through their day. All right. On that note, have a great day on purpose. Off to Queen City you go.